Hello, I'm Corelli. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel, primarily because this is where, for the most part, I'm posting my shorts and full-length videos, longer form content and playthroughs and things of such nature. So if you're into this kind of content, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification to enable all notifications. Also, if you want exclusive content, then consider becoming a member. But, you know, you don't have to rush that one. Just stick around and see what I got and just draw your own conclusions. Let's put it this way. So today, I'm painting a piece called No Sales, Historic Crossroads. I don't like explaining my art. I don't like explaining my paintings, so I'll just leave it at this. This is the name of the painting. No Sales, Historic Crossroads. The rest I will leave to your imagination. So I can just, instead of talking about the meaning of this painting, which I would like for you to figure out for yourself, I'm just going to focus on the technical aspects of it. And I have to say that painting black people feels quite different from painting white people, because it's a whole different game as far as skin tone, and the interplay of shadow and light is quite different. Plus, I have to say that skin tones among black people vary vastly, so it becomes it's an interesting challenge. I like it. And here, I started out way too warm, I believe, and then I had to kind of dial it in and cool the skin tone quite a bit. But in the beginning, I'm trying to be loose, I'm trying to be kind of very free, very expressive with my painting here. And actually, what I really enjoyed about painting this piece is that it allows me to explore the, if it was music, I would say the lower range, but this is not music, this is painting. So I would see the lower key, of tones and colors. Lower key as far as brightness. Because the skin tone is darker, and within those darks and blacks, I'm not really using the Mars black or any other black straight from the tube. I'm using chromatic black. And I'm using chromatic blacks, which I create by mixing Prussian blue and lake red, or a variety of reds and blues, and then with the addition sometimes even of green. So it gives me a nice sort of deep chromatic black. But it sort of depends, because these blacks are all different, and then next step up after those dark blacks, then there are the browns, and they're cooler browns and they're warmer browns. But I just want to say that I think it's a very interesting exercise in really honing in those darker colors and dealing with chromatic blacks, and then, the browns and the blues that lay right outside of the chromatic black, if you know what I mean. Meanwhile, I continue with this series of paintings called Without Words. That's, by the way, speaking of which, that's why, in part at least, I am not explaining these paintings. I'm just giving you the title, and then you just look at the person. Well, it's a series of portraits, basically. But I want you to draw your own conclusions. I want you to just feel it, Because, of course, there is a certain meaning that I am putting into every portrait. And there's a certain way that I see the model. But just like David Lynch, I believe that explaining my own art kind of steals from the viewer. I think interpretation, individual interpretation, is very important. And here you see that I'm adjusting the tone. At this point, I sort of like it this way, but it's kind of not enough because it's not even. What I liked about this particular phase of the painting is that I had more reds kind of focused in the center of the face. So under the lower lip and the nose, they're slightly redder. But this is when I started to take it towards the green, sort of yellowish tone, and I sort of regretted this later. I probably shouldn't have done this, but you know, every painting is an experiment I'm in the end of the day, I'm not trying to exactly just photocopy the original model. I'm trying to play around with it, and I'm trying to unlock something within the model. I think that would be a right way to say it. I'm trying to unlock something in the model, something that I see in the person. In the same fashion, I approach landscapes and other paintings. I don't feel that I am obliged to copy what I see. I rather feel that I want to unlock what... How do I say this? There is something that I see when I'm looking at a model or I'm looking at a landscape or I have an idea for a scene or something like that. There's a vision. And then I just want to take that and I want to repackage it in my mind and then show to the viewer what I see. And at the same time, leave it can feel it for themselves. And so long as I keep the door open, wide enough, it invites the viewer to participate. It invites the viewer to absorb my art piece and to feel it for themselves and to see something of their own in it. I talked about this quite a bit, I believe, a year ago in my older episodes, and I mentioned, I believe, that I don't see much purpose in hyperrealism, no matter how technical it is. I don't see much purpose in that because, to me, all it is just it's an elaborate attempt to copycat reality, visible to the eye, and that's just not my thing. It's cool, it's very technically very proficient, very elaborate. It takes a lot of skill and all those things, yes, but I don't want to go there. And that's why I'm painting what I'm painting. I'm keeping it sort of realistic, but I'm grossly inaccurate, really. I prefer to be rather playful. And you know what? This is my vision. This is how I approach painting. This is how I want it to be. You know, this is not to say that this is the only right way to go about it or anything like this. I'm not making any claims. There's a whole lot of artists. There is a whole lot of different approaches to painting and to art, generally speaking. This is my approach. I want to invite people to participate. I want to leave the door open. And this, by the way, goes both for music and for painting. Well, and I would add also for writing, because I have stories to tell, I have ideas, but then I kind of have to let them out. And I would like to invite other people to think about these things and to see what they see or to hear what they hear. And I think that's the beauty of it. The provocative, the evocative power of art is more important than the literal dimension, I think. And there's the finished painting. There's the finished painting. Well, thank you very much for being with me. Until next time, once again, if you like my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. It will help me out a lot, and I'm publishing videos very often. And, stick around for music and paintings, and don't forget to check out my community tab for daily posts and such. Thank you very much for being with me, and until next time, ciao!